real quick, the Knicks have waived Taj Gibson.
$5 million.
So that's $5 million. And I think they've announced the rights to Ryan Arcidiacono as well.
Right. Does anybody know what Arcidiacono was making?
I don't remember. I think though that
it was non-guaranteed money anyway.
Yeah, but I think though the Knicks now have maybe somewhere around $9 million.
Well, and then if they sign Jericho, that's probably eating into that.
It might be eating into that. I
thought Jericho Sims was the exception, though. I thought that's what I read somewhere. That
I think he and Hartenstein can split the exception.
Right. I think it all depends on what happens with Jalen
on the circumstances.
Brunson. Yeah. It all depends on those circumstances. So, clearly something is happening. They've come to some kind of a decision about how they're going to address Jalen Brunson, whether it's going to be a sign and trade or just signing him in the cap space or however they're going to do it. They've come to some kind of decision, and this is the reason why they've waived Taj Gibson and Ryan Arcidiacono. So maybe this means that they are looking and bringing somebody else in.
Yeah, Carmelo.
Yeah, that's what I think they've been trying to do. Contract
is going to be.
Yeah, it could be. We were talking about it last night. We were talking about it last night. If it's going to be Melo, how's it going to look? Where's it going to go? Is he going to be happy with playing a situational role? You know what I mean?
That's very subtle, Sam, how you put that there. That's
what? What? That's
or whoever put that. That's very subtle. Nice.
I think that was Tony that put that there.
All right, I confess. It was me.
Oh, man. So, I guess we'll see what goes on after this. Do you think that the Knicks bring back Taj Gibson?
I wouldn't be mad at it. I think
as a player, as a coach.
As a situation.
Either way, I wouldn't be mad at it. What's the roster count right now? I mean, we opened up 3 spots, right? Because we didn't bring any players back.
The Knicks opened up 3 spots, and they brought in 2 players. And then they signed Jericho Sims. So that takes up those 3 roster spots right there. Because Jericho Sims was a 2-way player.
Yeah.
Right, but now if they waived Taj, that's a spot.
So that's a
and
spot.
And Ryan, that's another spot. So they got 2 spots.
Okay, so they got 2 spots.
Okay, so yeah. Melo and Taj, bring them back.
So Tim, I'll say this. Listen, Taj Gibson to me was our most versatile defender last year, particularly as a big, can be able to guard centers, can be able to guard power forwards. Cool. Also a really good screener as an older guy. But I feel like Hartenstein basically replaced him. He's a younger version of Taj Gibson for some of the intangibles that he brings. The ability to stretch the floor, the ability to be versatile on defense, which I've been saying the Knicks need someone like that in the front court that's not over 40 years old, so to speak. So I think there's no real need to bring Taj Gibson back. If I'm going to use that last spot,
I disagree with
I'm going to I'm going to bring in Carmelo Anthony. I think Carmelo Anthony can fill that same leadership void that Taj Gibson had in the locker room. If you're going to bring in a veteran guy, I would bring in Carmelo Anthony for that same kind of price. $5 million price range, veterans minimum, stuff like that. And Carmelo Anthony can give us everything Taj gave us from a leadership standpoint. And then we got Hartenstein to now fill in what Taj was giving us on the floor and then some. So to me, that's how I would go about that.
If there's 2 spots, I'll take them both. You got a offensive veteran and a defensive veteran. And not saying Taj can't give you no offense, because he clearly can. And as far as value, I think I agree with Sim, even though I want Melo back. I think Taj brings more value in that role, like as far as veteran leadership role.
How so?
Because we know he's willing to take a back seat. We don't know that with Melo yet. I feel like he will, though. I feel like he'll be willing to do it. So if he's willing to do it, I'm for them both. If we have the 2 spots and we're not waiving anybody.
I feel like one, like Tony is saying with Taj, you already know that he's willing to just take that situational role. You know it. He's willing to do that. Also, he knows everything that Tom Thibodeau wants to do. You know what I mean? And I just think that's very beneficial. And so does Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose does as well. But having two of those guys there, I think, you have a big man that knows what Tom Thibodeau expects from the big guys, and you have a guard like Derrick Rose that knows what Tom Thibodeau expects from the guards. You know what I mean? And not a coach that knows what he expects, but players that knows what he expects. And they're able to, translate it to the players' language. And I don't mean that in a slang sense. I'm just saying, saying it to the players so that they can understand exactly what is needed from them on the floor. I think it helps. You know what I mean? I think it helps.
I will say this though, the same argument I made last night. Melo's presence will probably be more instrumental for both Randall and Obi
I agree.
than either Taj or Rose.
And
so
media-wise, it's going to be more important for anyone.
Yeah, he'll show you how to move in New York.
Yeah.
How to maneuver.
Yeah, I think you're correct about Taj Gibson being the one to translate that to the players. But I feel like RJ Barrett's been with Tom Thibodeau for 2 years now. Randall's been with Tom Thibodeau for 2 years now, and I get it. Taj Gibson's played with him on every single team. But to me, I feel like the leaders of this team, the leaders in this organization, they need to be the one to translate that from the coach. And I understand what Taj Gibson did. I understand it's different with Taj. But you got a guy like RJ Barrett who you want to be the leader of the team anyway. You got a guy like Julius Randle
I get it.
who he has his issues or whatever, but I feel like that should be their role anyway. If we're bringing in Taj Gibson for that role, when I just feel like we can get someone better who can contribute more, in my opinion, who's also a veteran, and we can put him at in a situation where he can take a back seat. I don't think Carmelo Anthony is the same Carmelo we knew 7-8 years ago. I think this is a different Carmelo Anthony. He understands his role in the NBA, and he's not going to be playing the basketball much longer. So I just think that I would rather, if I had to pick between the two, I'm taking Carmelo Anthony over Taj Gibson. Because I think the sum is better than.
I think you can bring back both of them. Bring back both of them. I think you can bring back both of them. I liken Taj to maybe not the Knicks, but at least to Tom Thibodeau, like Udonis Haslem. You know what I mean? And I think having a guy like that around is very important to your team. You know what I mean? That just knows in and out. 2 years. Listen, you get a new job. It takes you 3 years to learn that new job. You know what I mean? To really know what you're doing in that new job. It takes you 3 years to really learn it. And so I can't sit and say that RJ and Julius really know every single thing that Tom Thibodeau expects in these types of situations, this situation, that situation. I think Taj and Rose, have a really good idea, and they're there to help.
So we need
RJ and Julius Randle. In a couple of years, they'll have it, they'll know it, and they'll be able to break it down to newer players that are coming in. But I think Taj is still important.
Sim, I get that. I totally get that. But don't you think it's best if we have one of those players instead of two? Like, why do we need Taj and Rose?
Because Rose can communicate it to the guards. Rose may not know exactly how to communicate it to a big man. He's a guard. He's never been a big man. He's a guard. And Taj Gibson is not going to be able to communicate that to Jalen Brunson or IQ. I think that's the important part of it.
Can I give two sides to it though? Because I think Brunson will be able to do it, especially given their history and such. Plus, with his dad being there to even be a translator to the translator, if you will. But even with Rose's history with Brunson, it kind of makes it valuable for him to be here with Brunson as well. So I think it could go either way. I'm not opposed to moving on from. If you had to choose between the two of them, who would you pick, Sam?
Me,
Rose and Taj.
If I had to choose between Rose I would choose Taj because Rose has the bigger contract, and
I was gonna say exactly,
and we can free up the money. We can free up more money. You know what I mean? If I had to do that, I would choose Taj because he could free. We could free up more money that way.
I think the Knicks are in a very interesting situation here because you got two vets in Rose and Taj who are glue guys for the team. They've when they're out there healthy, they've given their all, and actually, when they're out there healthy, they're some of the best players we got. So I think, but I'm saying this, and I'm prepared to move on from both of them. However, I want Taj to get Herb Williams' locker. Like, I think you could still get what Taj could. I think you could still get. Taj is in great shape. Taj could be a player coach, meaning he can coach and be out there running fives with the guys, showing guys where they need to be in practice. I don't see what's wrong with that. I've said it for a long time now. I want Taj to be a coach that is out there showing them on the court. And that doesn't take up a roster spot. I'm a little confused by you, Josh, why you're shaking your head. If he's a coach, he's not affecting the roster.
But see, the only Williams and Jerome, all these old Knicks guys, when the Knicks weren't winning, you got to want to bring these guys back. Forget about these guys.
But those dudes, those guys aren't Taj. Taj is different. Yeah. Taj can still play ball. Taj could be out there showing you as a big man where you got to be. Taj can give you the move that you're supposed to be working on. He could still do that.
Yeah.
That's why I like Taj.
I think you're talking about on the practice floor, right?
Correct,
not in the game.
No, not in a game. No, yeah.
I think Josh thought you meant on the floor in the game.
But see, my thing, Ron, once Taj Gibson crosses over to be a coach, the dynamic changes because now he's in the locker. He's in coaches' meetings.
He's on that side.
He's on that side.
He's one of them.
It changes, right? Because now you hear the scuttlebutt from the coaches instead of the scuttlebutt from the players.
Right.
And now the players,
he's gonna start acting different too a little bit.
Right. Now the players like, wait a minute.
Players might start acting different. Like,
he's gonna be called a suit.
Coming, Taj coming.
Yeah, exactly. Taj is coming. Don't
because how Tibbs knew I said that, B.
Right. It changes. I think it changes the dynamic. But a guy like Taj, in my opinion, when he's a player, he can easily go back and forth between the coaches and the players. You know what I mean? You're talking about the 15th roster spot.
I just like that we
got enough young players on the team. I like Taj.
Someone said it in the chat. I like the fact that, if you had Taj as a coach, you could easily say, all right, Taj, look, this guy's hurt. This guy's out because of health and safety. You're going to need to make you a player again. Suit up, player.
Right.
Give him a 10-day contract.
All right.
Hey, it's crazy? We might only need Taj 10 days at a time this year. So,
you
think your bag with the shoes, bro?
You might be on to something.
We're gonna sign you on the plane. We're gonna sign you on the plane.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see. I think he's gonna come back. I think he'll be back. I think he'll be back on a vet minimum contract.